All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with a band that is new to me and possibly new to a lot of people who listen to the show as well. I was looking at your Instagram page and saw a post recently about how it was the 1 year anniversary of your band being a band. So you're relatively new to the local music scene, and I think that the best way to start this off is for all of you here to introduce yourselves, what you do in the band, and then we can get into a little bit of sort of history about what the band does and what style of music you play and what you have coming up. So whoever feels like going first, introducing themselves and what you do in the band. Always fun when there's this many people in the room, but let's go for it.
Scarlett, take it away.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Scarlett. Go by Scarlett Alexis in the music world. Yeah, that's me.
And what do you do in the band?
I am the singer, and we have three guitarists, so we kind of drift between who plays what, part wise. So rhythm and lead whenever, and also songwriter, I guess. But we're all kind of merging into a songwriting direction where we're working together. So.
Cool, cool. Who wants to go next here?
Hi, I'm Emmanuel. I'm pretty familiar with your show, so this seems pretty surreal.
Well,
I
thank you. I'm
play
glad
bass.
someone listens. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Starstruck.
I play bass, and I guess I songwrite too. Do a bit of everything in the band, but everyone has their own parts. But yeah, I mostly stick to bass.
Cool, cool. And who else do we have here?
I can go next. Hi, I'm Jarek. I play guitar. One out of the three. Um, I also do a little background vocals here and there, usually some background screams wherever uh fits place in the songs. And yeah, like Scarlett said, we bounce between rhythm and lead parts all the time, so we don't have like set designated roles for who gets what part, but
Sure.
yeah.
And I'm Jonathan, better known as John to most people. Wait, is my mic working?
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, right on. This is my first time using Zoom, so I'm like annoyed to this kind of stuff.
So far, so good.
Yeah. But my name is John, and I play the drums.
Cool. And so I think that one of the questions that people hate answering, and I'm going to start with this because I think it's an important one, is how do you define the type of music you play? And the reason everyone hates this question is because there's so many subgenres and subgenres and offshoots and this and that, and it's way harder to sort of determine what kind of music a band plays unless it's sort of a straight ahead like a country band or a hip hop group or whatever. Even in those kind of more specific genres, there's all these offshoots as well. So if someone runs into you on the street, here's you're in a band, what's the best way that you have of a sort of a quick way to define it?
I mean,
Um,
we've been pretty like set on like what we sound like.
Okay, well then, well, yeah, what's the Cole's Notes version of what you sound like then? What would you describe it as?
I think we've kind of branded ourselves as like Winnipeg's J-rock band. Definitely a lot of my inspiration for writing like leads and chord progressions come from J-rock and like math rock. I like tricod, and I've grown up watching anime, so a lot of those kind of major 70s sounds really stuck with me. Same with the leads, and Jarek nails the harmonization too on those. Like it really solidifies the like epic anime dramatic. But yeah, definitely J rock with um, other influences. Like a lot of us listen to similar things, but then our own things. But yeah, we've solidified ourselves as like Winnipeg J rock.
Is that what the rest of you agree with too? Like, is that sort of the band's own, like all of you sort of feel like that fits the sound?
I would say so. I think
Yeah.
like if a coworker were to ask me like, "Oh, what kind of music do you guys play?" I just kind of tell them like we make anime intros.
Okay.
That's how I explain it.
Yeah.
Well,
You
that's
tell
interesting too, because like when I saw that on your in your bio as well, I was like, "What the hell is J-rock?" I mean, I listen to a lot of different kinds of music, and as you would imagine, having done this show for as long as I have, but J-rock is definitely not one of them. Anime is something that like my kids watch it. I have no frame of reference for it. I feel bad, because you guys obviously are really into it, but it's something that's just completely over my head. As a genre, I just haven't engaged with it really. So I assume the J connects to Japan in some way in the name
Yeah,
J-rock.
Yeah.
Japanese.
So, and you said math rock too. So, I mean, math rock is maybe not what as a as a non-anime person, I would have assumed has any kind of connection with what the soundtracks are for those, shows and movies. So what is J-Rock for the uninitiated? Like, how would you describe it to someone who really hasn't experienced anime in any way?
So J-Rock, see, this is my simplest way of describing J-Rock. It's jazz with distortion.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That is a
Yes,
perfectly that is a perfect description
that's
of it, I
that's
think.
amazing.
That sounds great. I mean, that description sounds awesome. I wouldn't have thought, again, as someone who is not connected with that whole world, I wouldn't have thought that those soundtrack for those kind of movies and shows and stuff would have that sort of element to it. So, did you all get into this from the anime thing, or were you listening to some of these kinds of music that had those influences beforehand?
Well, I started Solaire because I wanted like more creative freedom with writing. I didn't want to be like stuck in just one genre, but everyone just gravitated towards this. So
Okay,
like we're all content making this type of music.
cool,
Hmm.
cool.
And I think like all of us kind of come from different musical backgrounds. Like right now, I've kind of like the emo guy, I guess. I come from like a big emo background, like Scarlet, obviously, um, like very J rock and math rock inspired, and like Emmett and John are both very like pop punk,
Okay.
uh, like backgrounded, and I think like they all blend together in such a beautiful way. Where like I think the Venn diagram of like all of those genres, like the middle section of that Venn diagram is like it. I don't know. It comes together in a
It
beautiful way.
lines up nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Then
yeah.
I grew up listening to like alt rock, R&B. Andrew grew up listening to like classic rock, so like we're just like an everything bagel of all genres. Andrew's our guitarist
Mm.
who couldn't make it today.
Right, the third guitarist. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In spirit. He's here in spirit.
So with all that in mind, did you have, I mean, I know the band's only been together for a relatively short amount of time, but have you sort of figured out where you fit within the larger Winnipeg music scene? And I ask because, you're defining yourselves as Winnipeg's J-rock band. I doubt there are many other ones. Maybe there are, but like all of these other influences, you have the pop punk thing, the emo thing, the jazz elements, the math rock elements. Where do you sort of see your people, I guess, within the local music scene?
Well, we have our EP release show coming up on February 7th of this year, 2026.
Nice plug. I like it.
And like we decided to like, hey, if people watch this like a few years down the line, you have to date it. So like, yeah. So we specifically picked that bill because like the Ranger system and second floor patients have all like expressed that they were inspired by J Rock when it
Okay,
came to their music. So we wanted to like, make it a J Rock type night.
cool. And do you feel like there's an audience for that? I mean, locally, do you have people? Well, I guess what's the reaction been to the band in the short time you've been together?
I feel like we've really found our niche in like I'm really happy to say found our niche within the local music scene of nerds. So we have like the anime people. Everyone likes J Rock and stuff, and then like Rangers being definitely a more like video game focused musician, and
Sure.
um, like they have a great system going on, and then um, we have right emo nights, and we have K-pop nights like Eman's in Asian Glow. So I feel like we've really implanted ourselves into the nerd community. And there's a huge population in
Sure, sure.
Winnipeg. Yeah, and it's honestly really nice seeing familiar faces every time. Because we do see new faces, of course, but it's really nice to know that we have a really strong community who who just loves to come out and support each other and go to everyone's shows. Yeah, I love that we found our little niche.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great. It's great to hear. Does that give you sort of a wider potential audience outside of just sort of the main music scene? I mean, if you're appealing to that nerd crowd, there's obviously a lot of events and community and subcultures and stuff around that. Has that opened any doors for you, or do you foresee that opening doors for you in future as far as where you could play or what kind of audiences you could play to?
Recently,
Yes.
well, not recently, the past shows we played have been like very like varied up because we can play with like heavier bands like Second Floor Patients. Then we can play with bands as chill as say Sunday Club.
Okay.
So like we can our sound is pretty like versatile in the sense that we could probably play most bills and we won't like stand out like
Well,
in
you
a
want
bad
to,
way.
yeah, you want to stand out in a good way, obviously. Yeah, yeah.
Stand out in a good way. We won't be like the sore thumb or whatever that saying is.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, we won't feel out of place. We'll stand out in our own way, but we'll still be able to mix in with other sounds.
One of the things that happens a lot in this show is I notice it happening a lot is I often refer to bands that are hard to define as being nebulous, and I was sort of proud of myself for not saying nebulous yet in this episode, but I kind of almost have to point it out now because but that nebulosity, if that's a word, I mean it's a good thing, right? I mean, like you're saying, you can fit in with the heavier bands, you can fit in with something that maybe isn't as conventional, and that's like a good problem to have, I think, as a band because there are often scenes within scenes that sort of stick with the same people playing together week after week after week, and that can get boring for the artists and the audience. So having that versatility, I think, is a good thing.
I feel like it also establishing that like nerd brand has also led us to do things like we played at Game Fest, which
Cool.
is another local like festival thing, as well as Street Feast at the Forks, where we got to really show our like Sonic covers and everything. And it was really awesome. Like we even got asked to play at a birthday for someone who goes to my university, but
Okay.
they asked us to play at her birthday because she's a huge Sonic fan and we do Sonic covers. So they're like, "Hey, can you guys like come and play a few songs for her birthday?" So it's really given us a lot of opportunities that are outside of playing like the normal bill at the local venue. Like
Yeah.
it's really nice that we get to explore a lot of different places just because we're known as being pretty versatile and being able to do things like video game covers or like our own stuff or like Paramore. Paramore has also our
Oh
Solaire
yeah.
set has really opened up our opportunities for us. I mean, doing 3 emo nights has it's been really tiring, but also
Now
really
the first night
rewarding.
was a Taylor Swift night.
Well, oh yeah, sorry. 2 emo nights and one Taylor Swift where we opened up as Paramore.
Right, right, and that's become a big thing over in recent years. Those bands as bands kind of nights where I mean you see them all the time where it'll be bands sort of doing a whole set as someone else, and I've seen your name show up doing the Paramore thing. So I mean, do you feel like that's a band that really fits what you do, that you can kind of fit into their shoes fairly easily for those cover nights, or is it a bit of a challenge to shift your sound to do those songs?
Not really. It's like when we when we started, like even before we started Solaire, I told Jarek during like one of our band practices, I was like, I want to do a Paramore cover set down the line.
Yeah, this is like 2 years ago,
Oh,
probably, I
cool.
think. This
Yeah.
Now we've done
Then
three
is
already.
before I even joined Solaire.
yeah, we basically manifested that Paramore cover set.
We all just really like Paramore, I think.
Yeah,
Well,
that's even me and Eman brought it up when we did our first show together. We're like, wait, should we like keep this band? Eman asked me like, oh, what like sound do you kind of want to do? And I was like, oh, I feel like we could maybe do like a Paramore thing. And then we're like, hey, we'll do a Paramore set maybe in the future. And we're like, yeah, that'll be years and years into the future. And then
Hey, I was
then we
advocating for
then we got
metric.
it.
Like six
I was
months
advocating
later,
for us to
yeah.
do metric.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Does doing something like the Paramore set? I mean, obviously you got to practice those songs, and you've done it enough times now that you've played them a lot, I'm sure. Do you find that seeping into your own sound maybe more than it would have otherwise, just out of muscle memory of playing sort of that style when you're doing the cover sets, or are you able to keep sort of your own stuff and that those sounds fairly separate?
It does certainly bleed into some of the songs I write.
Okay, okay,
I
But
feel
like,
like they've
yeah.
been pretty separate. Like we're able to differentiate ourselves from Paramore
sure.
because we tend to get very tired of Paramore after we do one of those sets, and we're like, hey, we need a break. Let's play our own stuff because it's been a while and we miss it.
Yeah,
And then as for new songwriting things, like I really feel like we're moving into like more experimental things, but not in a Paramore sense. Like we're really able to still let ourselves be creative in our own ways without letting that Paramore influence affect us too much.
cool, cool. And I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about having that kind of being the nerd band that has those opportunities. Does that, I mean, lyrically, are you the nerd band as well, or is it just because you have these influences and you're playing sort of similar songs that would be relevant to those audience, or are you nerd band as far as the subject matter you're singing about as well?
If I'm being
Uh,
honest, a lot
no.
of our lyrics are just like they're not very nerdy. It's
Okay.
a lot of our nerd vibe comes from like our stage presence.
Our
How,
stage presence and our like melodic qualities of our music. Um, yeah, it's mostly instrumental. The lyrics are the lyrics we always have very like they're all rooted in something we felt. Like you can tell in all the songs that I write, they're it's always about somebody or myself. It's always about something in my life. Like I have a really hard time writing about things that like don't exist. I
okay,
need to like feel it to be able to write it down. And I know it's the similar with E-Man too. So
Yep.
cool,
We
cool.
we joke about it all the time, but every one of our songs is a diss track towards someone. Even ourselves, like
Yep.
yeah.
Do you have songs that are diss tracks to people and they don't realize this is diss track? Like, are the people the songs are about at your shows ever?
For I'm not
Probably.
sure my lawyer would allow me to
Yeah,
say
you don't have to
anything.
name them. Yeah, I'm not asking
we
for you to.
No,
we
no,
reserve the
no.
right to not answer that
Yeah,
question.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
plead the
Yes.
fifth.
Here's a diss track about here's a song I wrote about myself that I just started. So it's called it's called Ready to Live. It's a work in progress. I don't know if it's gonna get finalized or not, but you never know. It's about me being a bad driver.
Right
There you go.
on, right on. You mentioned the stage presence too. So what is it about the stage presence that gives off that nerd vibe? Is it just like just the way you guys dress or act, or is there something more to it than that?
It's partially the way we act because whenever we let's say like we're known for playing Sonic the Hedgehog covers, but sometimes like Scarlett would pull out a Sonic plushie and flail it around while she sings it.
Yeah, she also has like a hat with like Shadow the Hedgehog with like the ears and everything. And
Well, we
Yeah,
have the Hello Kitty guitar as well. Like,
oh, I mean, yeah,
We've
yeah.
had
yeah.
CRT TVs we brought up too with was it Smash Bros Melee in the background
Oh
too, just
yeah,
as
yeah.
like a little
yeah.
stage decoration. So
A friend of mine, Anaxis, once described our band as the most Gen Z show they've ever been to.
It sounds like
I
it.
think
It
that's like
sounds yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that brings up another question then. I mean, do you play a lot of all ages shows? Because I feel like a lot of those elements, I mean, Gen Z and younger are not necessarily going to be going to bar shows. Obviously, older Gen Z kids are going to be able to. But I mean, my kids are, teenagers, and Sonic the Hedgehog is a big deal, with them too. And that hat you described, my oldest has the Shadow Toque. Like, I think it's probably the same one. So there's definitely an audience like of people who are, under 18 who really like that stuff. Is that part of what you guys do as well? Is there opportunities for you to play all ages shows just because of those elements?
yes. Our EP release show was actually is billed as an all ages show.
Okay.
And I think our last few shows have been billed as all ages because the last Paramore cover set was all ages too.
Is that something you do
Just
deliberately? Like, is it important to the band to be able to play to sort of whoever?
not really. It was just lucky. Like our last like few shows have been all ages.
Yeah. We've a lot of the shows that we play, we don't have a lot of power over. But someone asks us to come on the bill and we love playing shows. So we say yes to a lot of them. And it's really fortunate that a good chunk of them have been all ages, especially the more like festival type ones,
Yeah.
Game Fest and Street Feast, which were both free and all age, like they're at the Forks, it's public, like it's a whole thing. You can go and listen. It's really nice. And it does kind of suck. Like I'm an older Gen Z, right? I'm 19, so I do know a lot of like I have a lot of friends who are turning 18 or like not quite
Sure.
18 yet. So it would be nice to have them to come to shows. So it kind of sucks when they can't, but um I'm really fortunate that our EP release is going to be all ages, and I hope we can do more in the future just because again, the nerd image, we have a lot of those pop culture references
Yeah.
that all the younger kids would get. And hey, it's a good excuse to go see live music, engage in your community, get the younger crew going out because COVID messed up a lot of opportunities to go out and develop yourself and learn who you are. So yeah, fuel the flames of the local music community with all
That
ages shows.
That's great. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
all ages shows are fantastic. I feel like there used to be a lot more of them in the 90s and then it sort of stopped for a while and it's nice to see them coming back because, for obvious reasons. I mean, there's so much great music that I think a lot of people my age and the older and even some younger ones too, like that got into the local music scene through all ages shows. I mean, I
Yeah.
first started going to shows when I was in grade 7 and like I'm glad that that is an option for a lot of kids now to do stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely cool to see. Um, with this EP release, what are the details on the show? I mean, I'll definitely put them in the show notes and everything too, so people can find it there. But if someone's hearing about you for the first time and they're hearing this before the event happens and want to check you out, what should they do?
So just follow us on our social media on Instagram, TikTok, and sometimes Scarlett would post on Facebook. So like
We don't have a
our hand
Facebook.
no, but like whenever you post something like Solaire related on Scarlet Alexis, it like reposts it
Oh
on
yeah. Well,
Facebook.
I post them on my Facebook.
Okay,
We
okay.
don't have a Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all our handles on every social media all around is Solaire WPG.
Okay.
Solaire as in the Dark Souls character, WPG as in Winnipeg.
Okay. Okay. And then what the show is happening when and where and who else is playing? I know you covered some of this beforehand, but it's always nice to plug it again.
Oh, we got you. February 7 at the Handsome Daughter with Second Floor Patients and the Ranger System, hosted by Real Love.
Cool, cool. And one of the questions I always like to sort of, as I'm closing out the interview, is to ask where people can find your music, where they can follow you. You just answered that for me with all the social media stuff. But once this comes out, where can people find it? Well, where's it going to be released? Is it strictly digital? Or, I think you mentioned CDs earlier, so there's clearly physical
Yeah.
copies. Where would you direct someone to find this find this music once it's released?
Uh, I direct them to Spotify, no, Apple Music, and Bandcamp. You can support us on Bandcamp too.
For sure, Bandcamp's great. Yeah, and
We're,
you'll
And
have them at
we're
the
on
show, I assume
everything.
too, right?
We're
Yeah,
on
yeah,
so-
we try to
everything.
have it on everything.
Right
I was
on.
gonna do this thing where like whoever the first like 10 people who order it on Bandcamp will get like a free CD.
Well, now you've said it. Now it's
Well, yeah, now it's
you may be held to that. I think if someone hears this and wants to buy one, yeah. And I mean, so this is it's a podcast. Hopefully, people hear it when it comes out, which will be the show will be imminent. The release will be happening soon. If someone hears it a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever, you mentioned the best ways to find you on social media, but do you have any shows coming up in the relative near future? It's not going to help the 5 years from now people, but maybe the 6 months from now people, or a month from now. Do you have anything planned aside from the CD release, or is that sort of the big thing right now?
That's the big thing, but we do have other shows planned. We're planning well, we have a show on April for Manitoba Music for their new music night.
Oh, cool.
It's gonna double as my birthday show, so it'll be awesome.
Right on.
Then hopefully at the end of summer, we're planning another cover set.
But not Paramore, or is it Paramore
It's
again?
not Paramore.
Okay, okay.
It's
I
gonna
gather that it's a
feel-
mystery based on the way you're sort of teasing
Yeah,
this.
don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not
No
gonna say it,
leaks.
but we are gonna tease it on our EP release show.
Oh, right on, right on. That's cool. Yeah,
Then
that's. So go ahead.
this is yeah. Then we have another show in December, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to say any details about that one.
Well, it's January now, so that's far enough
Yeah.
in advance that I think you're probably good to just say it's happening, and people can wait to find that out. Yeah, right on, right on. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I hope hopefully people check out your CD and then go to your show and you can expand. It would be nice to see. I mean, especially as someone who has no idea what J-Rock is coming into this, it's always nice to hear there's people doing different things, and I'm sure there is a huge community for that elsewhere. But I mean, it's always cool to see people trying new things in Winnipeg that maybe haven't existed in the local music scene. Because as much as I love going to hardcore shows, there's been 7 million hardcore bands, over the past 35, 40 years, and it's great. But it's always cool to see some new stuff, especially if it fits into various sort of subgenres as well. And you can play with heavier bands, you can play with other stuff. So it's very cool to hear this is happening, and especially when it's younger people too. It's always nice to see that. So and you're doing CDs, which is great because there's lots of dinosaurs like me who refuse to use streaming, and it's always cool to see. So
We
do
gotta
you wanna-
keep that art form alive.
yeah, well,
Facts.
I'm glad you're doing it. Do you guys all listen to CDs or other physical media, or are you mostly streaming people?
My car doesn't have an aux cord, so I do bring CDs sometimes.
I
That's
still
awesome.
have a Second Floor Patient CD in my car that's been in there for a good month at least now. So that's
Right
been
on.
spinning for a while.
Yeah, I like to I like physical media. So I have my CD collection gathered from both of my parents and, of course, my own purchases, as well as some vinyls. If I'm just chilling in my room, I'll pop one on, listen to an album. But I do love streaming services as well, of course.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
The convenience is everything.
Cool, cool. Well, yeah, I like the car thing. I am terrified to one day have to get a newer car that doesn't have a CD player. I think I would choose the older one instead. But no, it's always good to hear that people are still doing that because it did feel for a while like almost everyone was sort of avoiding physical media in general, and because streaming was so convenient. But it seems like it's coming back a bit, and it's always nice to see. So, do you want to plug the show one more time before I let you go?
Yeah, February 7 at the Handsome Daughter, with second floor patients and the Ranger system, all ages, and sponsored by Real Love.
And where can people get tickets? Is it just at the door, or are there advance tickets?
You can get tickets at the door, but you can get them cheaper online or through Show Pass or Real Love's website.
Awesome.